So now that you just kind of like led into that, like what is next? Like what is the goal for you?
Yeah. So, we're in a franchise model of growth.
Yeah.
So for me, the franchise world's been very interesting. I'm sure you have your ear to the ground. You know that there's been some really big missteps by some of the big players in the game, unfortunately. And I think everyone sets out meaning really well, and I think that things evolve to where bad things happen sometimes. But so the big thing for us is we want to grow. We want to double in size, triple in size, get the same thing. So next year we should hopefully hit that 50 studio mark. The year after that we're hoping to hit 100. And then like the year after that, like 250. So like, 50, then 100, then, just growing sustainably. But to do that, we want to do it very ethically and very sustainably. So we actually stopped selling franchises coming out of the pandemic. We had sold a bunch going right into 2020.
Yeah.
Fortunately, none of them had opened yet. We sold a couple more in like 21, but then we're like, okay, let's pause. Let's get these guys open. Let's make sure they're successful, supported, and that we have a team and a system that's replicable and we can actually go forth and not put people at risk. Last thing I want to do is have somebody come and bet their child's college fund on a business idea and then it not work out right.
Did you read that exponential article?
Yeah,
it's brutal.
It's really brutal,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunately it's ruined a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And some of it's timing, some of it's bad luck, some of it's poor franchisee selection as well.
Yep.
So we really took a big step back, stopped selling franchises, and now we're ready to put our foot on the gas. So we want this good, transparent, ethical version of franchising where our franchisees are really our partners and we're really looking after them. We want to profit out of royalty and not out of selling franchises. So
Which is a different approach.
It is, yeah, because a lot of them, they want to sell as many units.
I mean,
as they can.
F45 is sell.
Yeah.
Sell.
So they sold like 600-700 units, and
Yeah.
they collect a ton of upfront franchise fees, and then they mark up their equipment package.
They force you to buy their equipment,
Yeah.
and they upcharge you by like 4 times the amount it should be.
Unbelievable, yeah. So we have a couple fees. So we make maybe a 10%, but we basically negotiate discounts off what you would buy the equipment for. So if a piece of equipment would cost you $1,000, we can get it for $800. But you can get it for $900. We just split the savings, basically, is what
Yeah.
we've done. Yeah. So, and so that's ethical. We make a little bit of money there, but it also allows the franchisee to get something that's cheaper than they could go out into the market and get it themselves. So, and if we can't negotiate a cheaper rate on something, we don't take anything. So like Concept 2 rowers, we can't get a discount on those, so we don't take any markup.
Unfortunately, nobody can.
Yeah, nobody can. Yeah, great business model there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, so the goal is to grow, and it's to set up as many entrepreneurs with the ability to be successful and create legacy for them and their families. And we're really only looking to do multi-unit franchisees. We're not looking to have you buy one, you buy one, you buy one. Like, no, I want you to buy 3 to 5. And make it it's your life, it's your focus. It's not something you buy your kids as a hobby. It's not something you do on the side. This is something that we want you to commit to. And I think that's better for the brand. I think it's better for the other franchisees to know that all the franchisees are committed to the brand. They're not it's not a gig or a side hobby for them.
Right.
And so with that structure in mind, we're looking to put our foot on the gas and really start selling franchises. So we just started selling franchises back again in July, and we've sold 15 since July. So in the last 2 months, we've sold another 15 units. There's a line of people kind of wanting to get in there, and we're trying to be selective of that. So
is there a demographic restriction? Or are you open to anywhere?
Yeah, so not necessarily restrictions. So we're open to anywhere that makes sense. So, we've got all the demographic research and stuff like that, but our model really is flexible to incorporate people as young as 15 is our bottom cutoff, but really we pride ourselves anywhere from 22 to like 48 is kind of the bigger range where the majority of everyone fits in, which is great because that will allow you to go to like your Coral Gables might have an older demographic, whereas your Brickell will have a much younger demographic, right? And both of them are successful. So we do have that flexibility. And so then it's really about every city we go to, we run the numbers, and we have a really good site selection company that we work with that does all the software and the mapping and all the different things. So we do that before we even sell. So if you wanted to open a franchise in, say, Atlanta, pick a city, whatever, I'll be like, okay, cool. We know Atlanta can sustain the brand, but where in Atlanta? So then we say, we go to this company and they run the demographic research and they say, okay, these are your 5 top trade areas that you're going to go into. And so we try to really use science and data and technology as much as we can to make as informed of a decision as possible.
Right.
But then at the end of the day, it comes down to having a little bit of local knowledge, right? Some people know that, people like, how far do you spread them out? They're like, well, is it 5 miles? Is it a 15-minute drive? But we all know that, like, if you're in Miami Beach or in Midtown, like, nobody crosses the bridge.
Yeah,
it's like there's an ogre under the bridge and nobody wants to cross it, right?
Yeah.
So everyone that lives there, and those are 10 minutes apart.
Yeah.
But they're very different markets and stuff like that too. So that does require some local intelligence and local knowledge as well. So we lean on the franchise partner to have a voice in that as well.
And what's been your biggest pain point of just this whole thing? Like, or many, like, I'm sure there's many, but like, because I think that what I've found is, like, people look at where we are today and like, oh, they just,
magically appear. Yeah.
And or we just, like, never stopped working, or, just whatever, but they don't really see the true obstacles, the true challenges, the true setbacks, the true difficulty in running a massive business. Because, like I said, let's just go back here for a second. Like, Florida, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Alabama, it's kind of spread out. And then obviously Miami. So, you can't be in 20 different places at one time. So just talk a little bit about, like, some of the pain points you've had and how you've overcome them.
Right. So there's a lot of pain points. We could talk all day about that, but I think there's two really big ones, right? The number one, and I'm sure you know this as well as I do, that people are always going to be the biggest problem and the biggest solution to anything, right? Yeah. So, your product can only be as good as the people executing it. So it's really, finding good people, good managers in the different studios to really represent the brand and be passionate about it. When we have a great manager that embraces what we do and they live it and they breathe it, those studios do well, right? The product itself works. The customers, we very seldom ever hear a bad thing about the product itself, right? It's usually a people thing or it could be a location thing and stuff like that. So people are always going to be a challenge, and today's workforce is interesting because people don't have the work ethic that we grew up with, right? Which, I'm not even thinking that people should. It's a little bit sadistic probably to work as hard as we do, but I love it, and I know that you do too, and I know that we're the early morning people that and work into the night and stuff, and that's all well and good. So finding people that can embrace what we do and then want to have the work ethic to execute it is one side. But then at the brand level, I think anytime you try to replicate and you try to go to other places, it's all about having a replicable process where, no matter which studio you go into, it's a SWEAT440 because it looks, feels, sounds the same. Right. And that consistency is really tough. So we spend a lot of time, we have manuals and documents and stuff like that are, everywhere. We have a Google Drive that's full of stuff. And then in communication of those and getting them out there and being able to say, okay, tell an architect and a contractor in New York to build a studio to this look and feel, right? And then to train the employees to execute the training for their coaches and stuff like that to be the same, so that when you go take a class, the coaching feels the same as it would in South Beach.
Right.
So that's just a lot of work. I wouldn't say it's even painful. That was just a lot of work. And the biggest thing is I've just made mistake after mistake after mistake, but we learn from them and we correct them really quickly. And so I'd say, I just literally we've just failed our way to success, is the best way, I guess, to define that, because we've had some really cool harebrained ideas that have been ridiculous and they've failed miserably, and then we've had some really kind of like off the cuff, like whatever, that have been home runs. And so it's about constantly tweaking and just evolving the program, and then the replication of that. So we've got softwares that we use for training people, right? So that I know that no matter where you are, you go through this training, you can do it in your phone. It's a little app, right. Again, I say it a lot, but I leverage the hell out of technology because I think that there's it's easier to control an app, and I can update like my training program and make sure that every coach in the brand has to take that course.
Is everybody running the same workout at every studio?
Always, yeah.